And these are your digester blowers.
Digester blowers?
Mm-hmm. We use air, or we aerate the digesters when we want to, if we're having trouble getting decant. In other words, if you're not getting your supernatant, the split where you get your clear supernatant, a lot of times you can burn it for a day, sometimes overnight. Let it go the next day, day after that, and you can it'll usually start separating. You'll get your supernatant decant.
So that's the only time that you really aerate the
when
the digester.
as needed. And these work about the same way. You have Corsair diffusers that run along the outside and plus the inside ring. See, this plant actually, that used to be like a package plant, so that was your aeration basin, your clarifier, the whole thing. And we just, once we got our new clarifiers in, they upgraded the plant. They turned that into a wash system. So what happens here is, let's go out and look at it. Your WAS pumps to the center, and then it will actually, there's small ports all the way around this, and it will drip as it fills. Once it's full, up to that ring there, it'll start just dropping into your cell 2. That's the big one on the outside. This is cell 3, the one in the center is cell 1. We decant every day from cell 1. We usually get quite a bit of decant out of cell 1. That's rarely ever a problem for decant. That goes through that line. You can see underneath that big steel pipe there's a smaller PVC, and what that does is we have a pump, submersible pump, and it'll pump it up to the headworks, and it'll drop it just on the other side of the partial flume.
How deep is this?
It's probably 20 feet.
So are you getting anaerobic decomposition on the bottom layers? And aerobic, is it operating kind of facultatively? Or?
It actually, since we don't feed it air, anything happening in here is going to be an anaerobic process.
Okay.
Except when you have your... Okay.
So it's kind of like almost an anaerobic, kind of whenever you decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this fog on top of it too, still?
Yeah, this is actually a combination because, your sludge, by the time it comes in here, you've got your heavy sludge on the bottom, you've got your clear decant in the center. Now you can see that coming, that's your WAS coming from your WAS pump. And it's filling the center well. And so you're going to have a layer of sludge on the bottom. You'll have your clear supernatant, then you're going to have your top layer of sludge over the top of that. I've never seen this where the clear supernatant comes to the top. What happens is we store all of our solids here during the winter. Any excess we send over to the pond, and it's just pumped from any cell you want, or 2 or 3, and you can send it out by way of that blue pipe or that blue hose, 4-inch, out to our lagoon, which is, we use it for excess sludge, or sometimes if we have high flows we can send the excess water to that. This is our pond. As you can see, we've been wasting into it out of the digesters, and we can pump out of here back up to the biosolids room. And so after biosolids season is over, this will be down probably another 3 or 4 feet from here.
How deep is this?
Oh, this is probably at the deepest point from the top of that outlet right there down. I think it's probably like 3 or 4 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's not super deep,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it'll hold in excess of 1 million gallons.
Wow.
And then right now, what we're doing is we just have a submersible pump stuck in there, and we're sending clear decant back up here into the A basins. Now we don't do that while we're trying to do our ammonia, because what you're basically doing is sending dead water back into the system, and it makes it really hard to get your DOs up high enough to stay in BNR.
Mm-hmm.
So I could run it today, but we've been having trouble with our DOs anyways, so I felt like, it wasn't worth, pushing them down any farther. And they've, as you can tell, it's down about 1.5 feet now, probably 2 feet from where it was about 2 weeks ago. So, but when the water's clear, you'll see ducks in here and geese, and every once in a while a heron. I don't know what on earth they find in there to eat, but
Right, yeah.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
The pump that I tore apart and put back together this morning is the pump that feeds this.
Oh, gotcha.
And we usually run 2, but right now we're waiting for a couple of plates that hold the diaphragm to the spindle. And the plates actually lost their threading, so they just came loose off the back of the thread.
Oh, wow.
So we're down to 1, so we have to stay right on top of it, because if we lose that, then you're not wasting, and before you know it, you're blowing your blankets, and you've got a big mess. You can see that's actually clear. And as this raises, it will overflow the weir there, that little weir plate, and then it will just gravity drop into this. So all the waste from the plant comes into the center tank, and then we will just let it drop into this. But usually, as you can see now, we still got about 4 or 5 inches. We have been getting a lot of really good decant out here, so we can drop this thing down about 24 inches with a 3-hour, 4-hour decant.
Finished product.
Out of timberline and government.
Now you can
camp
see
fungus.
after it sits for a while, it gets very dry. This is all line stabilized. That's white. That's all the line that we use. We use approximately 66 pounds per thousand.
So you make the twice speed.
Of line?
66 pounds of lime per
That's the
thousand,
ones actually-
thousand gallons of
After
digestive
line
sludge.
stabilized, it's probably
That's an approximate number.
yeah, it would be class B, because it goes on the filter.
That's my lime silo.
But you're not
Lime silo?
Lime silo. I can hold 32 tons of hydrated lime in that silo. Now, the reason why we have that tank here is because we used to do liquid application, and that's why the tank's there.
Is it empty?
There's about 4 feet in it. But we have to use that in order to feed our belt press. We have a 1.5 meter belt press, Ashbrook belt press. We could run theoretically 300 gallons a minute. Theoretically.
You usually run right around 100?
Right around 100. Does anybody know why we do that?
Because you have to have the right mount so you can get the right thickened mount.
Okay, a belt press, no matter how big the belt press is, will run 650 pounds per hour per yard. So if you have a 3-yard belt press, you can run 1,950 pounds across that per hour. This is a 1.5 meter press, so we can run about 900 pounds per hour. I don't care how many gallons hit that belt press. You're only going to get 900 pounds off of a 1.5 meter belt press. Period. So you can overfeed it all you want, because it's just going to ooze out the sides. You're going to handle it 3 or 4 times before you get it all out. I only like handling crap once.
Tank right here is where we keep our lime for the stabilization.
So this tower over here is just,
It takes 12 minutes to get through this pipe before it comes out on top of the belt. Now as it comes out on the belt, it's going to dewater. By the end of the dewater phase, which is the top portion of the belt, it's really dry. Now when it goes down, it goes into the rollers, it's put under 250 pounds per square inch of pressure. So all the water is wrung out of all that sludge. So when we hit that hopper, then that's where we add the lime. As soon as it drops off the belt press, it goes in that water, that hopper, and we beat the lime into it. So we get 100% homogeneous treatment.
When it comes off the belt press, what percent solids are you at?
18.
18%.
We like to see 18 come out. And then after the lime gets introduced, it'll add another 5%. So by the time it
thickens
gets
it even
the long pipe out here and drops it to the bay, we're anywhere from 22 to 24%. We have to maintain a 12 pH minimum for 24 hours. And when I apply it to the farmer's field, it has to be at 10.5. So that's why we don't store it. Because the pH will drop by a lot.
So is it grade A?
Class B.
Then this tub, this concrete wall around here, it collects the filtrate off the bottom of your belt press and it feeds it back into the system.
We have about a 98.7% recovery, approximately. Nobody else has any questions?
What are you discharging as far as BOD and TSS?
Will we discharge?
Yeah, what
On
are
what?
for in your effluent? What are your BOD and TSS levels?
Permitted?
No, what you're actually putting out.
We have, right now, I think a 99.3% removal. I think our last BOD that came off was a 4.
Okay.
Our permit is 1510, 15 weekly, 10 monthly on BOD and TSS. Our last TSS that I took off last Thursday was 1.6. And that's off a 24-hour composite. Now in the summertime, we don't have that restriction. We'll know if you reclaim the water. All I have to prove is 85% reduction. There are no.
And you have to keep, said like
So
one.
There's
one
no
milligram.
BOD or TSS limit during summertime.
Nope.
And you have to keep like a 1 milligram per liter chlorine residual.
We
When
just
when
need
you're-
we just need a residual.
Just any residual, just to detect.
Right.
Okay.
But we require a 3.
You require.
Why? You're supposed to say why?
Why?
Because I have to prove a kill.
Okay.
Okay, just a residual is not going to kill anything. So we have our own self-imposed limit. That way I could prove to EPA and DEQ that we're killing everything. That's why we do that. It's not required.
So you're not spreading a bunch of bacteria on somebody's field.
It's just a nursery. As soon as it hits over there, it's under UV
Yeah.
24/7. But I want to prove a kill
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
As an operator, I want to make sure that I'm putting out the best quality effluent I'm capable of putting out. That's my job. As an operator, you're a steward of the environment, and it's to be taken very seriously. So I don't care what my permit is. I'm going to go above and beyond my permit. That's the job. That's it. So all I'm required to do is show a residual.
But that's not good enough.
It's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for you. If you're over there, if you're working over there at that nursery, you want to know that you could be around that sprinkler water and not get a disease. Next thing you know, you're walking in circles because one leg's shorter than the other. Ugh.